A former top aide now claims Zelensky is personally profiting from the war, as yet another alleged scam inside his government is exposed. Zelensky is deliberately prolonging the war to get more money, according to a stunning allegation from his own former spokeswoman. The revelation comes just as Zelensky's ex-second-in-command is hit with major money laundering charges, deepening the corruption storm in Kyiv. A Ukrainian government insider exposes what they call a wartime scam, even as Vladimir Putin hints the war itself could soon be nearing an end.
I think that the matter is coming to an end.
Former Ukrainian presidential spokeswoman Yulia Mendel has publicly accused President Volodymyr Zelensky of deliberately prolonging the war with Russia, according to RT News. In an interview with US journalist Tucker Carlson, Mendel claimed Zelensky is using the war to enrich his inner circle and political coterie. She further alleged that senior Ukrainian officials are involved in large-scale money laundering schemes tied to the ongoing conflict. Mendel went as far as to label Zelensky a dictator and the biggest obstacle to peace, despite once serving as his own spokesperson. Her explosive comments surfaced on May 11th. The same day, reports emerged that a former top aide to Zelensky was facing corruption charges. Ukraine's anti-corruption prosecutors announced on May 11th that ex-presidential aide Andriy Yermak had been charged in a major corruption case. Yulia Mendel said, and I quote, "He, Zelensky, is a dictator. He is one of the biggest obstacles to peace today. There are a lot of people in his government who want peace. Zelensky is going to come up with any condition. He's going to change his positions all the time just to prolong this war and to get more money." Unquote. Mendel argued that ending the conflict with Russia now would amount to political suicide for Zelensky, given how much his power rests on wartime leadership. She also alleged that the US and UK pressured Kyiv in 2022 not to sign a potential peace deal with Russia during talks in Istanbul. According to Mendel, internal polling suggested Zelensky would struggle electorally if full democratic elections were held under current conditions. Ukrainian prosecutors have charged Zelensky's former second-in-command, Andriy Yermak, alleging he was tied to an $8.9 million scheme funneled through luxury housing projects outside Kyiv. Investigators say shell companies, cash payments, and falsified financial records were used to quietly channel funds into an exclusive complex of 4 luxury mansions with a private spa and wellness center near the capital. Officials say the case is now part of a wider corruption probe linked to Ukraine's state nuclear monopoly, in which 9 other suspects, including former Deputy Prime Minister Alexei Chernyshov and ex-Minister Herman, have already been charged. Authorities allege money connected to the Energoatom scheme helped finance elite properties for influential officials around Kyiv's outskirts. Yermak has publicly denied owning any luxury homes, insisting that he has only a single apartment and 1 vehicle to his name. President Zelensky has so far remained silent, issuing no immediate statement after prosecutors announced the charges against his former top aide. All this is unfolding as Russian President Vladimir Putin, on May 9th, suggested that the war itself may be nearing its end, adding another twist to Ukraine's deepening wartime corruption drama.
This is what I would call the so-called globalist wing of Western elites. It is the one fighting us through Ukrainians. In that sense, they are certainly well positioned. They provoked this conflict. I have already said how it began. I haven't come up with anything about the initial starting point. Oddly enough, the discussion was about Ukraine joining the EU. Sure, they could have joined, but it escalated to armed conflict. Why? Because no one cared about Russia's interests. Furthermore, in a desire to use Ukraine as a tool to achieve their geopolitical goals, these Western figures deceive everyone, and they are now publicly admitting it. They began deceiving us about NATO's eastward expansion back in the early 1990s. We were told then, NATO won't take a single step west. So where are we now? All of this, taken together, has provoked the current situation. So I repeat that they are fighting us through Ukrainians. It's already become clear to everyone. We were also talking with colleagues recently, recalling how it all unfolded. We reached an agreement with the Ukrainians in 2022 in Istanbul, but they initialed the agreement. Then one colleague, well, let's face it, Mr. French President Emmanuel Macron, called me and said that Ukraine could not sign such historic documents with a gun to its head. This is his direct speech. We have a recording of the conversation. I asked, what needs to be done? They said, you should withdraw your troops from Kyiv. Well, we did. Then another showbiz figure arrived, then British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. He said that this agreement can't be signed as it is unfair. who determines whether it's fair or unfair. If the Ukrainian negotiating team had initialed these documents, what's unfair about that? Who decides? They promised assistance and started escalating the standoff with Russia, which continues to this day. I think things are coming to an end, but it's still a serious matter. The question arises, why? First, they expected a crushing defeat of Russia. We know very well that they expected the collapse of Russian statehood within a few months. That did not happen. Then they got stuck in this rut and now cannot get out of it. That is the problem. Although there are certainly intelligent people there, there are also those who undoubtedly understand the essence of what is happening. I hope these political forces will gradually return to power or take power into their own hands with the support of the overwhelming majority of European countries.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.